Hello and welcome to this month's Executive Brief. I'm Dr. Roxanne Agua. This is a 20-minute brief. We're going to be talking 10 minutes about capacity, pressure, and leadership, and followed by a 10-minute tension release routine. So these are somatic exercises that will help you release stress, and you'll be in and out in 20 minutes. So this month, there are three things that I wanted to talk about. I want to talk about how how recharge your battery is, how recharge your battery is, how that will affect your experience in leadership. So different levels. Hi, Eric.
Oh, sorry.
Hello, Eric. How you doing?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Oh, good, good.
Welcome to this executive brief. I was just starting it because I record it and I send it out to people in the network. Nice cup, by the way.
Oh, thank you. My Batman cup. Yeah.
Yeah. Favorite superhero when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So if you don't mind, I'll just get going just to get the 20 minutes in really quickly. So I was just saying this is an executive brief that I do every month. It's 20 minutes long. We do a 10-minute topic at the beginning where I talk and then 10-minute of tension release. So you should be in and out in 20 minutes. So
Perfect.
yeah, good. So, this month there are three topics I wanted to talk about. I want to talk about how how recharged you are, how like the percentage of recharged your battery is, how that affects your experience as a leader. So, different levels of recharging equals a different experience. Second topic is tension and how tension in leadership becomes kind of the norm, and then coming back to your baseline is a little bit difficult, and how training your nervous system to get back to your baseline is really an important tool. And then the third topic I want to talk about is how to use stressors to our advantage to increase our capacity. And I have a cool story of a patient I saw this weekend that I'll use to exemplify this.
Is this a one-on-one or do other people join too?
Usually other people, but they're not here. So
Okay. Well,
yeah,
I
this
feel
is
special. I feel special.
yeah, you should.
By the way, it's a good topic because yesterday was my first day back from 2 weeks staycation.
Oh, nice. Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, so usually what I do is let me just pin myself because I yeah. Um Usually what I do is I record this, whoever comes on, and then I record it and I send it out to the guys who attend these usually. Um but yeah, so I was a little bit last minute. I just sent all the invitation like last night. So
All good. All good. I just got off of the call with my CEO, so this was perfect timing.
okay, awesome. We'll get that tension off, Eric.
Good.
Okay, so I'll just do my brief as if everyone's there. So don't be, you know.
Okay.
Okay, so I just got off. I was working this weekend in the ER, and I just got off a 48-hour shift. So pretty big shift, pretty intense. And I had not been to the ER in the hospital working for since last year because I had been taking time off. I wanted to work on my coaching business, doing stuff like this, content, coaching people. So it had been a while since I had been in the ER. And so this was a very interesting experience because I went back. I was a little bit apprehensive because, ER medicine is kind of, it's like a little bit like jogging. If you haven't done it in a while, it could be a little rough, right? So, so I went back, but thankfully it went super well. And the thing that really surprised me was that I had the best experience ever. It was really, really fun to do these 48-hour shift. And what I realized is that this is partly because I was so recharged from taking time off. I felt rejuvenated. My battery was just like, my energy was high. I was even excited to be in the ER and seeing patients. And so, I loved my job in the past, but this was a new level of satisfaction at work that I hadn't often experienced, especially in such intense work periods, right? Like 48 hours. They can call me anytime. I can be up all night for 2 days. So it is pretty intense, but I had an amazing experience. And partly, and I would say mostly, this was due to the fact that my battery was so recharged. So your experience as a leader, if your battery is at 25% or 10%, is not the same experience as if your battery is at 80% or 85%. And so that's an important thing to consider because um, you can be going through the motions, you can be telling people what to do, you can be directing people and pushing the paper and giving orders, but it's not the same thing as leading. Leadership is something that is supposed to be with energy. It's not just with your actions. And when a leader is recharged, they have an energy that entices people. It's collaboration rather than coercion or anyways, telling people what to do, right? People feel excited about your leadership when you feel good and you feel energized. So the experience that I had in the ER was that everything was lining up for me. Everything, like the nurses were just one step ahead of me to make everything easy to see my next patient. I would talk to people, they would get everything organized quickly. Most of these cases that I saw this weekend were like little cases that were easy, like children with earaches or fever, which was really fun. I love seeing cases like that, but once in a while you have a bigger case because I'm the only doctor covering the whole town. So, for example, I had a man who had a stroke, so I wanted to transfer him really quickly to the bigger center 1 hour away to get scans and stuff like that. And so I pick up the phone, I transfer to the other doctor there. Everything goes smooth and quickly. And the nurses are just looking at me in amazement, like, oh my God, because the doctor who was receiving my patient, he's usually like a very difficult doctor, he's very grumpy. And because my energy was so aligned, I was so clear in what I wanted to do. I knew exactly, I felt good doing this transfer and sending my patient. The doctor seemed like a really nice person and super collaborative. And the nurses were like, what? How, this doctor usually never accepts patient. And I was like, seemed like a good guy to me. And I just moved on. But this is because I was so aligned in my energy and I felt good leading this action. So it makes, my point is, your energy and your level of rechargedness, if you want to say it that way, really affects how you take your actions and how people and situations collaborate with you. It enhances the experience and it makes it just pre-paves a smoother path for things to go. And of course, that doesn't mean that there aren't challenges. Like during my 48-hour shift, there were moments where I had a lot of uncertainty. I had one patient who wasn't doing good, and I was like, oh, am I making the right call? So it doesn't mean that there are no challenges, but the challenge is when you're recharged, you have more mental clarity, you have more like risk tolerance, and you're able to hold more risk and more uncertainty better. So that's the first point I wanted to talk about the more recharged you are, the more fun your experience is. Because actually, that's what sometimes we forget as leaders, that it's not just about duty and responsibility. Leadership is, in a way, leadership is supposed to feel good. And it's supposed to be fun as well. So this experience that I had this weekend was really, in a sense, it was really satisfying because it was showing me all the work that I have done on myself in these 9 months that I've been away from medicine to fine tune my energy, to be more recharged, to be more aligned about my leadership. And so I think that understanding that recharging your battery is a business strategy, it's a leadership strategy. That's a really important point. And I feel like this was a good experience that I could share. So, on to the next topic. Second topic is about, 1 second to check my notes here. The second topic is about tension release and coming back to your baseline. So, when you're under tension and you're facing challenges as a leader, your adrenaline goes up, your cortisol goes up, and this is what gives you that extra stamina to push through, right? Which is really necessary in some cases. You need that push to get through a challenge. But the thing is, sometimes we're on such a high with all these hormones keeping us like active and awake and energized that we forget what our baseline going back to a relaxed state, we forget that. And the high state kind of becomes our normal state, which it's not. It's not our normal state. And if you're always staying in that tension state, you burn yourself out. So, for example, when I was doing my 48-hour shift, I was in a high state. I was like, "Ooh, okay, give it to me. Like, I can handle anything. Bring it on," right? But that's not sustainable for the long term. So, after 48 hours, I was like, "Oof, I really need to tone it down." And I went back home, and what I realized is that I was still on that adrenaline rush. 12 hours, 24 hours, I had finished all my shifts. I didn't have anything to do. But that night, the following night, I was up at 2 a.m. and just like, because I was still buzzing from all that cortisol and all that adrenaline. So when you're always in that high state and under tension, you forget that this isn't normal. This is not normal. There's a recovery state that you need to remember and you need to tap into. And the best leaders will be able to tap on their nervous system and turn off their nervous system when needed so that they can recover and have sound sleep, right? I didn't have very restful sleep that night because I was up at 2 a.m., just like I couldn't sleep. So, and imagine I teach this stuff. So it's like, I was like, oh my gosh. So that's an important concept to understand. So third topic quickly before we do our tension release routine is how to use stressors to our advantage to increase capacity. So a lot of people think that stress is like something you want to do as damage control, right? You're just trying to damage control so that your body doesn't have wear and tear, so that you don't have too many problems. You're just trying to like avoid a little bit of collateral damage. But that's not really the best way to see it. I see stressors as something that can actually enhance your capacity. It can build your capacity. It can build your resiliency to hold pressure. And when you understand this, you can use this capacity, you can build that muscle of turning your nervous system on and off so that you can recover. And when you recover from these periods of pressure, you build your resilience to handle more capacity, more stress. So it's not about relieving stress or not wanting stress. We need pressure as leaders, but it's about understanding that stressors should be used to our advantage, not to our deterioration, let's say. So challenges and stressors are important and they can strengthen our ability to be good leaders. And I will use a patient that I saw who was very inspiring that I saw this weekend. And so I was in the ER and a man comes in, he's this 40-year-old man, and he was just like, I could just tell he had such good energy. He walked into the room and he felt it felt like a breath of fresh air, right? Usually people walk into the ER, they're not feeling that great. They're a little bit run down. And this guy just felt like he just was shining. He didn't even say anything. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm excited to go see that patient, right? And one of the nurses recognized him and said, I know who this is. This is one of I went to school with him as a kid. And this was actually a child who was born deaf and moved away to the city when he was like 5 or 6 to get services and get specialized schooling for his deafness. And he comes back in the summer. He now lives in the city and he comes back in the summer to visit his parents. So his mom was with him to interpret. And I was like, oh, this is so exciting. And the nurse said, yeah, I spoke with his mom and she said, he's been married for 10 years. He works. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. Someone who's deaf has such a huge handicap and is working and is married for 10 years. How incredible. So I was even more excited to see this patient. I go into the room and I see this patient, and ironically, he's coming in for ear pain, which was very funny. So I walk in and I'm like, I had YouTube like say hello in sign language. So I try my stuff and I try to build rapport with this patient to build trust. And so anyways, we look at his ear, nothing serious. And then I was curious. I started talking with him and his mom was interpreting and she was telling me, yeah, he's been married for 10 years. He lives in the city and he works as an interpreter all over the world. He travels all over the world to interpret. So say they have these big treaties that they want to sign, he is there and doing the sign language for television. So I was like, oh my God, that is That is amazing. Someone who came from a tiny town. This is a really, really tiny town. It's beautiful by the sea, but it's really small and very rural. So most people don't really travel much. They don't really get out much. So this guy had a handicap and now is working internationally in big things and living a rich life. And I told him, I said, that's amazing because had you not had this challenge, I don't know if you would live such a full and rich life. This challenge has brought you to new levels. How incredible. And and it was, it was fun because uh his mom got a little bit emotional because it was such a good moment, it was so impressive for me to see how this young man had so many obstacles. And from the outside, you think, ooh, this is not set up for he didn't get the best cards, right? But actually, he turned it into something extraordinary. And so I just think that that was really interesting and can really exemplifies very well how under challenges cause us to expand. Challenges are the opportunity for us to grow, to discover who we really are. And this patient just showed me that so well, and I thought it would be fun to share with you guys. All right,
I,
so
I don't want to interrupt,
yeah,
but
go ahead, Eric.
I have a quote for that. Well, Horace has a quote for that, and it's prosperity conceals genius, adversity reveals it. And I've lived my life that way.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great quote. Let's add it in. All right, so are you ready for a little bit of tension release routine? Okay, cool. So I don't know that you've done this before, Eric. I think that I don't think you've been to any master classes. So I
I
would
have.
invite you to get up and everyone who's watching.
Okay. All right.
So you if you don't mind putting yourself on mute so that we don't hear any sound, that would be awesome. And we'll have a Q&A at the end that will be off record if you have any questions. So, all right, so we're going to start with one of my classic moves. If you've done this before, shaking. So we're just going to bounce into our knees and breathing in through our nose and out through our mouth. Deep breaths and bouncing and shaking, like relaxing your hands. Perfect. Good. So we're going to do about 3 breaths like this, just letting go of tension, breathing in through your nose, long, deep inhale, and exhale through your mouth. Release. You can side out. And 2 more breaths like this. You can close your eyes if it feels good. One last breath here. Excellent. All right, so this month's tension release routine is focused on mental clarity. So we're going to be tapping on one of the muscles that accumulates a lot of pressure, the trapezius muscle. Right here, this is the muscle of Atlas who's holding the world on his shoulder. So you're going to take your right hand and you're going to tap on your trap. Like a good tap, you're circulating the blood. Allow gravity to do the work. Good. About 10 on each side. So when you're done, you can go to the other side. And I invite you to take deep breaths through your nose and exhale through your mouth to release. Whatever side is a little bit more tense, you can spend a little longer there. Usually it's the dominant side. So for me, the right side. Excellent. All right. So the next exercise we're going to do is for mental clarity. This is an acupressure point in acupuncture, which is used for mental clarity. So we're going to take our 2 fingers, put them between our eyebrows, and we're going to do little circles here. I encourage you to close your eyes. I'll count I'll watch the time and deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. Close your eyes and just relax. Feel the relaxation in your forehead and in this spot. 2 more deep breaths here. All right, great. So one last exercise before we finish this tension release routine. So we are going to do an acupressure point that is used to calm the nervous system. So this is like a nervous system regulation. And it looks like, Eric, you might already know it. So from the crease of your wrist, you take 3 fingers, and right here, we are going to massage. Yeah, perfect. So you can use your thumb to massage in circles, and we're going to do about 20 seconds on each side. Same thing, medium pressure, no pain. Breathing in through your nose and exhale through your mouth. This point is known to lower resting heart rate. So very, very good point to relax, to reset your nervous system, to calm your system down. Let's go to the other side. 3 fingers after your crease, right there. Put your thumb and circular motions that should feel good. It can feel a little bit tender, but not painful. So I love this acupressure point because it's very discreet, right? It's not like the shaking or the tap traps where you are making a lot of noise. This can be done between calls if you've got a conversation right before or right after that's a little bit intense. You can just reset in between seeing people. You can do it during a meeting, no one's going to really notice. In the elevator, on the plane, this is a really good point to just massage one side, like a minute each. It's a really great reset. Great. So, guys, this is the end of the tension release routine. I hope you enjoyed it. And I will see you next month for our next executive brief. Just give me a second. I'll stop the recording.